advised. The opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CSR. I am your host, Attorney Sarah Jane Sugitan. I'm proxying for Mr. Larry Breward for tonight. And welcome to GNN. Well, for tonight, we're going to be discussing, well, aside from CSR, a Filipino brand of liquor. Can you believe that? And I'm very proud of this brand because it's 100% Filipino made, and it has been receiving a very warm welcome in the US as well as in the Philippines. Tonight we have the VP for Sales and Marketing of VuQo, Ms. Giselle Arroyo, on the show. Good evening. Welcome, Giselle.
Good evening, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Giselle, you're my schoolmate in college.
Yes.
That's why I know you. And when I saw on Facebook that you, well, you opened your own company, more or less, or co-founded your own company, I was very curious about what product you have and how did you start this company?
Well, the name of our company is VuQo Inc. We started it in December 2005. It's a brainchild of Rich Cabael. He's a Filipino-American entrepreneur from San Francisco. And he used to be an executive for an American liquor company. And he was responsible for building a brand there, putting it into distribution and sales and marketing it as a brand from Mexico. And, being the patriotic Filipino he is, he thought, why am I doing this for a Mexican brand? I'm sure there's something in the Philippines that Filipinos can be proud of, that we can market internationally, because as of then there's really nothing, there's no big Filipino brand abroad as far as premium spirits go.
Yes, that's true.
So
well, we have beer, but
yeah, we have
when
beer,
it comes to spirits,
and to an extent
don't
we
really
also have like Tanduay is it also has a good name, but it's not really pushed aggressively into the into the mainstream,
Yes,
right?
that's true.
So he recalled having an experience on vacation before where he tried Lambanog when he was in Bohol. So he called me and he said, hey, why don't we export Lambanog to the States? And at first I was like hesitant about the idea.
Yes,
Because here in the Philippines, Lambanog is kind of mom and pop. It's small scale, small industry, and no one had ever thought to really commercialize it and put it in a premium bottle. But then we did some research and we found out that Lambanog, you can actually market it as a vodka made from coconut in the States. So
and that's how you started.
That's how it started.
The company.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the name. You call your product VuQo,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
VuQo. This is obviously a play on the word
Yeah,
Vuko,
exactly. Yeah,
which
so
is
it
a
started out
Filipino
as a
word.
joke, because when you're thinking of a name, we're like, okay, what are we gonna call this? It should have something to do with coconut, because it's made from coconut. So you're writing things down, and you're just sitting around the dining table, and then you wrote Buko, and then I said, Filipino sometimes the accent, the P and the F and the B and the V,
yes,
kind of
we interchange.
I said, let's call it Buko, and then so BUKO, VUKO, and then our third founder said, let's make the K a Q para social. So you're laughing, and then we wrote it down, and then we all stopped. We were like, oh,
Hey,
wow.
that's a good name. That's a good
Yeah.
name. It's a play on the word buko, which
Yeah,
is let's face it, it's a very common product in the Philippines. I mean, there are coconut trees everywhere, so
yeah.
we take it for granted. But
Exactly.
abroad, I mean, they're now extolling the virtues of coconut, which we've always taken for granted, if
Yeah,
I may say so.
The timing turned out to be perfect, because right now the coconut water industry is booming. You have Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they all have their brands of coconut water. It's all the health buffs all like to
Yes,
drink
they
their
do.
coconut water and their products. So the timing, I mean, we didn't plan it that way, but it just so happened that we're entering the market at the height of the popularity of coconut.
But when you were planning your business, you didn't want to enter the coconut water market. You
No,
wanted specifically to
Spirits.
make spirits.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried Lambanog yourself?
Of course. Yeah, and the irony of it is, in college, I've only had one really, college experience with alcohol, and it was with Lambanog.
A drunken night with
yeah,
Lambanog.
and then I swore. I said, I'm never gonna drink Lambanog ever again. I actually swore.
And
And,
yet you're manufacturing Lambanog.
Yeah, never say never. So
yes.
there.
Well, technically, is VuQo a Lambanog? Is it
No,
exactly
it's not.
the same? It's not. So it's different.
It's similar. It has a similar raw material, which is tuba, which is the coconut nectar, but our process is different. So, like, we market it to the Filipino communities in the States as Lambanog reinvented. So that way they still feel that kinship to it as Lambanog, but then it's, we say it's like the cousin of Lambanog that's been repackaged and refined.
Refined,
The key word there is it's refined.
Yes, and I read in your website that there is a long history behind Lambanog. And I would say that for some countries, they're made popular by their spirits or their drinks. Like, for example, Mexico, we know they have tequila, or even in Europe, you know, their wines. And so, I mean, sometimes a country or a region is defined by their liquor.
Yeah,
See?
absolutely.
And the Philippines, we have rum, and then we have Lambanog. But we never really thought of bringing it to the market outside the Philippines, the world outside the Philippines.
Yeah.
And yet, in your research, I mean, we have this technology way back. We've been drinking and manufacturing Lambanog from the 16th century.
Yeah, so the story that we discovered is that, you know, so like you said, the technology has been around for hundreds of years. We've been practicing it since the Spanish were here. And then during the Manila-Acapulco trades, there was, you know, back and forth between, on the Manila galleons between Manila and Acapulco. And at the time, there's no tequila yet. In Mexico, they were only drinking fermented agave wine. And it says in the Mexican history books that the technique of distilling coconut was brought by Filipinos to Mexico,
Wow.
applied agave to make the first tequilas.
So we taught them how to make tequila then.
Yeah, I'm sure they know. And you know, the
Way
funny
back
thing is we've spoken, you know, we have colleagues in the industry in the States who are from Mexico, and they actually agree. Yeah, you know, there's a town in Mexico, Jalisco, where they call alcohol tuba, which is a Filipino word.
Yes,
Until
the
to this day,
Filipino
they still use the word tuba, which they learned from us. And so, of course, tequila is the number 3 spirit, I believe, in the whole world. Everyone knows tequila.
Yes,
But
everybody knows
Lambanog
tequila.
kind of got left behind.
And
So-
to think that it's I mean, it's a drink even from way back, from the 16th century.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And at that time, there was no tequila yet that is being manufactured. So you're right, we kind of got left behind.
Yes.
And yet now you're reinventing Lambanog, you're introducing it to foreign markets, to foreign tastes. But I'm curious, it's made from coconut, correct?
Yes.
Your vodka is made from coconut. So does it have a coconut taste?
It actually
coconut
doesn't,
flavor?
because of the process of making vodka, the way you distill it, by the time it reaches a certain proof of alcohol, it's neutral. So it's a neutral spirit. Some people, when they, you know, everyone has a different palate,
That's
but some people, they can taste the hint of it at the finish. Some people can smell it, some people can't. So, but you know, we always we are emphatic that it's not coconut flavored, it's not coconut infused, because other brands do that. It's the only one that's made from coconut, and there's no one in the world who does that but VuKo.
So it's not coconut flavored vodka. It's
No.
vodka made from coconuts. So when you drink it, it tastes like vodka. It doesn't taste like coconut.
Exactly. Exactly.
But for example, do you have recipes for mixing this?
Yeah, we do.
What
you
would
know,
you recommend?
Well, number one, we recommend that people try it in its purest form. You put it in the freezer for like 10 minutes, and then it comes out. It's very cool. It's very soothing, and very smooth. So that's the purest form, the best way to enjoy it. But then, if you want to mix it, it mixes really well with, like, calamansi is my favorite thing to mix it with.
Wow,
Just
also
some
a local
calamansi.
fruit.
Yeah, it mixes well with local flavors also. Calamansi juice, even mango juice actually goes
You
well
can mix
with.
it
Yeah.
together.
So
Yes, that's very good. I was wondering, is this just marketed in the U.S.? Is it available for the Filipino market as well?
this year we introduced it at Duty Free Philippines. So we're very happy to have their support. So we have exclusivity this year with Duty Free Philippines, and we're looking into maybe increasing our distribution going into next year. So it's available to more people.
Yeah. So when you were making your product, which is made from coconuts, what kind of demographic were you looking at? Younger people, middle-aged people?
Yeah, I think we were targeting about like 25 to 45. Your urban,
Your yuppies.
your yuppie types. Yeah. what's happening is right now what we consider VuQo's hometown as far as marketing goes is actually LA. That's where we launched the product in 2009, and that demographic, I would say, I mean, LA is very diverse, right? But you know, the consciousness about health products and that type of sensibility, they really love VuQo. So that's the type of customer that we target.
So you launched a product in 2009, but
Yes.
the company has been in the making for
Yeah,
probably
so
more than that.
yeah, it took us almost 4 years to get the product approved in Washington D.C.
I mean the FDA approval.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's
okay.
equivalent of FDA but for alcohol.
But for alcohol.
So it took us so many
4
years.
years?
Yeah,
Wow,
almost
that's a
4
long
years of
time.
R&D. We had to keep going back and forth and you know, refining the product and yeah. So what you have is a product of 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears and hard work.
But is your product manufactured in the Philippines?
Yes, everything's locally made.
Yes, you know, I'm so happy to hear that this is a 100% Filipino product because, I mean, in the times, I mean, with current trends, there seems to be an immigration away of the manufacturing facilities here. We have companies shutting down their manufacturing here and then migrating to other neighboring Southeast Asian countries. But you've opened your facility here and you're generating jobs for Filipinos, and you're using Philippine coconut. So
Yeah, absolutely. That is the idea. Like I said, our founder, he's very, even though he's born here but raised in the States, but he's very patriotic. And you can see that movement among Filipino Americans. There's like, you know, before maybe 5 to 10 years ago, we had the brain drain.
Brain drain.
But
yes.
now I think, you know, people, now that the Philippine economy is really, you know, up and coming, and not, you know, the whole region, Southeast Asia, you can see a lot of people coming here to seek opportunities, and you know, Rich is one of them. Who sees the potential in the Philippine economy and products.
And those who have been born and raised abroad want to give back to their roots. So
Yeah,
that seems to
exactly.
be a trend, you know, to return home and then generate jobs here, make the economy better, and so on and so forth. Because there's just so much potential here. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
like for you, in terms of raw materials, we have acres and acres of coconuts available at your disposal, and also this is a native product. You know, the roots are very native. It's Lambanog. We take it, as I said, we take it for granted. But we don't know, it can become a great product that can be widely accepted.
That's our goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
and
want it
this
to be a
is-
household name, and yeah, absolutely. We're proud to tell people that it's a Filipino product, and also in our relations with our partners on the let's say distribution and import side, you know, we tell them about the provenance of the product, and we're also very proud about the Philippines. So
That's good. So you're promoting the
we
Philippines
absolutely.
as well.
A lot of them, you know, we tell them, oh, you know, the Philippines, our economy grew, you know, 7.2% and all of this, and you know, we're getting credit upgrades and all of this, and all of them are surprised, like, oh, really? I didn't know that, because you know, not everyone, I guess, necessarily monitors, you know, Southeast Asian
Southeast
economy.
Asia or even
So
the Philippines.
in a way, we feel like by promoting a Filipino product, we're also promoting the Philippine economy to foreigners, foreign businesses.
Yes, you're in charge of the sales and marketing of VuQo. Do you have like any Filipino endorsers, for example, since it's a Filipino product?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, our endorser right now is a boxer, Nonito Donaire, who is ranked the number 4 pound-for-pound boxer in the world. He's fighting again on Sunday versus a Mexican boxer, Jorge Arce. So Nonito has been our endorser for 2 years. We've been very happy when he wears the VuKo patch on his shorts whenever he fights.
So
we
when-
sponsor his after parties.
So when you see him on the ring, we'll be, you know, we'll be seeing VuQo as
Yeah,
a
you know, just keep your
on
eye
his
open.
shorts.
Keep your eyes open for the VuKo logo. And you know, it's like we say, the Filipino pride movement abroad. I can't speak for the whole world, but especially in the United States, the pride movement is so strong right now. And
That's good.
And people are just, you know, you can see even in the apparel how people like to wear the Philippine map or the Philippine flag.
Flag.
So there's this whole movement, and our timing was great because, you know, they've embraced VuKo as a Filipino product. We have, you know, the Philippine consulates in San Francisco, LA, Atlanta, New York.
They're carrying your product
They
in their
serve it,
socials.
yeah,
Oh,
they
that's
social
cool.
events, or they give it to dignitaries, VIPs.
Wow, kudos to the DFA, the
Yeah.
Department of Foreign Affairs, for carrying our very own Pinoy Spirits. Because I think, as you said, this is very warmly received in the United States in
Yes.
particular, which is your target market primarily. I mean, the Philippines is just a secondary market. Is that correct?
That's how that. Our founder being Filipino American and coming from that industry in that market with his contacts and networks, we started with the United States.
So this is a vodka.
It is.
Yes, and then when you were developing it, is this your only product? It's the only one that you...
No, it's not. So VuQo is our flagship product. The name of our company is VuQo, and the name of the product is VuQo. But in the course of developing VuQo, we were approached by some local winemakers.
Filipino
Filipino winemakers who were very, very good at what they did, at producing the product, but weren't necessarily passionate about sales and marketing, branding. They were passionate about making the wine. So they approached us and, to bottle their wine and sell it under our brand name.
So we have Filipino wines? You mean we have Filipino wines?
Absolutely.
Made out of, we don't have grapes here.
Yeah, I know, yeah. So our wine is made from mango. We have a mango wine and we have a duhat wine, which we market as black plum. Yeah. So we have one white and one red. They're very good. I mean, it's a funny thing about the mango wine is sometimes if you don't tell people what it is, sometimes they think it's a grape wine. But actually, you can definitely taste the mango in it.
Yeah.
It's very crisp. It's very it's a little on the sweet side, but not overwhelming.
Yes, I never imagined that we can produce wine from the Philippines, for example. But as you said, you made a white wine out of mango and a red wine out of duhat, of all things. And you said these are local producers, and that who need the chance or the opportunity to market their products and also to distribute their products, and not only here but also abroad. And how is the taste of a mango wine or a
it's
duhat
delicious.
wine?
It's so delicious. The mango wine, we suggest that people have it as an aperitif or as a dessert wine, paired with fruity desserts. It's really delicious. Or even with a light meal like a white fish. Or
so you can pair
you
it
can
with
pair it with food.
fish.
Yeah, you can.
Wow. So it's competitive with wine that is made from grapes.
Yeah, I would say
this is fruit wine. This is mango
I would
wine.
say it's similar to the sweeter white wines. Right, like the Riesling, like the German Rieslings, or a little bit on the sweet side. It's kind of similar to that.
But for that, what's the name of mango with or what's the name of your fruit wine?
So we have Halia. We have Halia.
Well, what does
Halia
that mean?
is in Bicolano folklore. She is a goddess of the moon. So for the wine, we were thinking more of a
mythic
female demographic. Because
wine,
and it's on the sweet side. So we went with Halia, and we like the sound of the name. It's exotic, and it rolls off the tongue nicely. So Halia mango wine and Halia duhat wine or black plum wine.
But you also sell this to the United States?
Yeah, also available in duty free. The mango wine is available duty free, and it's right now it's. Our number one customer is Seafood City, which is a Filipino grocery chain, very successful, good success story.
So Filipinos in the
California.
States also patronize Filipino-made wine and Filipino-made vodka.
Yes.
Which is surprising. How about, we all know vodka is Russian, so has any Russian ever given you feedback on your products?
In about 2007, I would say we participated in the IFEX trade show of DTI, and we were at the opening ceremonies. We were told that the Russian ambassador was coming with a delegation of Russian businessmen. We were so nervous. You're like, if the Russians might think that it's, an insult to Russian vodka for something to be made in a tropical country out of coconut. So we were, nervous and a little bit apprehensive. But when they tried the product, they liked it. They approved of it, and we were so relieved and you're happy. In fact, they invited us to join a trade show in Moscow. So, I mean, at the time, we weren't quite ready, but, if they invite us again, we'd be glad to take it to Moscow.
I would say it's a validation that from a Russian to say that this is vodka. I mean, to recognize this is vodka. This is not just some, coconut.
Wannabe.
Coconut
exactly.
vodka imitation. So that's very good. But at the moment, you're focusing your market in the United States and in the Philippines.
For now, yes, but we definitely have some things in the pipeline which we hope to see materialize in 2013. Some European markets and some expansion in the region in Asia.
I checked your website and I saw there a tagline that I really like, which is
Which one?
socialize responsibly.
Okay.
Okay. 'Cause normally, other alcohol companies would say drink responsibly or etc. But you say socialize responsibly, which is I think something that is more relevant in the times today because everything's done through social media.
Yes.
So, well, do you have any efforts towards, for example, promoting responsible drinking, etc.?
Yeah, you know, we're all for people partying, yeah, enjoying, have a good time,
yes.
but you know, we want people to know their limits and yeah, like you said, to socialize responsibly. So we are looking into some efforts that we could possibly support, especially when we start marketing in the Philippines. Like there are different services for that. Somebody started a lifeline for.
For yes,
for
those who
driving
cannot,
home, right? If you can't drive
drive.
yourself home, there's a hotline. So we're looking at those different options of how we can really incorporate it into our message and you know carry that out.
I'm really proud to hear that there is a Filipino brand that's becoming a hit abroad because I think na, as you said, we've been left behind. Lambanog, for example, is a very good product, but it's been left behind by tequila, which is now a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, worldwide product.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows tequila.
So you're putting the Philippines back on the map when it comes to spirits. And I
Yes.
think it's very good for our country to also brand with your product in the sense that you promote, well, Filipino jobs and also Filipino product.
Yeah, and
Coconut, mango,
also
and duhat.
tourism and you know
Tourism,
just
yes,
everything
etc.
about the Filipino lifestyle of you know
And even
and
the
the
way,
beauty of the country.
yes, and even the name,
VuQo.
VuKo and
Yeah.
Halia, which has a story behind it, is it's quite a challenge, I think, to come up with a name that's native or exotic or Filipino sounding. But the play on the word BUKO, becoming VuKo, you know, social.
Yeah, it's like
very
we
nice.
call it an inside joke, and you know we've been doing this for 7 years, but it always gives me such great pleasure when I talk to Filipino and then they ask, paano sabihin yung buko? How do I pronounce this? And then you tell them, and then or you say, sabihin mo lang, just say it, and then they say, buko, and then they go, ah!
It's BUKO,
Yeah.
you know, used with a V and a Q.
Whenever there's that, you can see that light bulb go over their head, and it's so satisfying
yeah,
when Filipinos appreciate it.
It's really a play on the word BUKO, as I
Yeah.
said, which is a common word and a common product. You see it on the streets, coconut trees.
Yeah, and then for non-Filipinos, they ask, what's VuKo? Is that French? Is it Vietnamese? Or, I don't know, we get all kinds of speculation. I say, no, it's Filipino.
Yes,
you know,
it's Filipino. See, that's the branding that I like because I think, well, the government has been promoting the Philippines as a tourist spot and we really have to, we're lagging behind, so we really have to catch up. And it's nice that even, as you said, the Department of Foreign Affairs is carrying our spirits in their social events. So finally, we have a product that we can say, oh, that one came from the Philippines. Right? That
Yeah.
one is made in the Philippines. That one is made by Filipinos and accepted, you know, worldwide. So I think that's a very good start as well. So it's very good that you're doing this.
You know, we're grateful, and it's not just the DFA. We have DOT, DTI, all of these government agencies that are behind us. So we're really appreciative of their help.
So, I mean, people can get in touch with you. What, do you have a website, Facebook, Twitter account? for
Yeah,
example?
please, like us on Facebook. VuQo, VuQo. It's on. You can
VuKo.
contact for any inquiries. You can reach us through Facebook or Twitter. It's the best way.
All right, thank you very much, Giselle
Thank you so
Arroyo,
much.
for spending
Thank you so
time
much
with
for
us. When
having
we
me.
come back, we're going to have a famous hairdresser right here on the show talking to us about Filipino hair and styling. Stay tuned, don't go away.